Joined here today by Adrian Yanez set to fight real soon at LFA 78, main event fight at bantamweight. Thanks so much for joining me, man. How are you?
Pretty good. And yourself, man?
I'm doing well, man, and thanks for joining me here so early, especially in the morning. I believe it's around 7:32 where you're at. What's kind of your day-to-day look like at this point, so close to the fight?
So close to the fight. Pretty much. I'm just trying to stay consistent with my diet, trying to stay consistent with training. I know whenever fight time comes around, people people usually start taking days off. They think they're already so close and they're already in shape. You gotta stay consistent.
And are you fighting full-time? Are you able to focus 100% on the fight, or do you also have a job that you're juggling on the side?
I have a 8 to 5 job, so I train, I work, and then I go train. I wake up at 5, go get my runs in, get up. So I get up, run, go to work, then after that go train. I'm usually busy all day. I'm pretty much working about I consider MMA a job, so I'm pretty much up for 15, 16 hours of the day just straight working.
Hey, that's a pretty crazy schedule. How is it for you juggling all that? Is it getting tiring, or have you managed to find a balance that you enjoy?
Oh man, I found a really good balance. There's like a little like 30 minutes to an hour depending on some days where I just get to just sit down for a second before I go train. So I found a good balance. And then on the weekends I try to do absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
That's what it is trying to be somewhat lazy on the weekends so I can just recuperate for the next week, because I already know next week is gonna be busy the whole entire time.
Yeah, for sure. Being an athlete, I'm sure you have a very particular nutrition. How do you juggle that? I mean, are you meal prepping? Do you have somebody that you work with? How do you juggle your nutrition and make sure your weight stays good despite being so busy?
Oh yeah, man. Meal prepping is key for me. That's what keeps me functioning correctly. Because if not, I'm just consistently just always worried about what I'm gonna eat. And good thing, I have a good supporting girlfriend who looks up nutrition all the time and just constantly trying to study nutrition and just trying to see what's best and what would be good and beneficial for me. But I'm also that guy who is like, hey man, if chicken, rice, and vegetables are doing good for me, I'll just do that 24/7 too. But she changes up my diet a lot of times, like gives me a little bit of variety, so I just don't get sick and tired of the same thing. But
Yeah.
uh, meal prepping, man, it's been a blessing to me. It's been amazing, so it helps keep me sane.
And I assume the weight cut process has to start real soon, if not a little bit already. When does that process kind of start, and what do you sort of begin with?
The weight cutting,
Yeah.
I try to keep it simple. I almost go pretty much keto for the week, because I'm already intaking so many carbs throughout the training camp that as soon as I try to switch it over to like a keto where I'm just taking like almost to no carbs that week, that my weight just falls off. And then also is just it's just staying strict on myself. I know that there's gonna be times where I want to sit there and eat some eat a lot of fruit, because I love grapes, I love apples and everything, but it's still too many sugary carbs for me. And as soon as I eat something with sugar, my weight just fluctuates up.
Yeah.
So I gotta keep myself consistent. I know what I can and can't eat. There's some foods that digest really poorly for me, and there's some foods that digest perfect. You know, got a diff. I'm every weight cut, I learn a little bit more about myself, what I can do, what I can't do. Weight cutting has gotten a lot better for me, but also a little bit harder as the age starts to go up.
For sure. And before we get to talk about the fight, obviously, I want to talk a little bit about LFA because we found out this past weekend it's going to be on Fight Pass. But for a while there, we didn't know where LFA was going to be. For you as a fighter on the promotion, what was kind of going on there where you didn't know when you'd be fighting on TV and stuff like that?
Man, I was freaking out. I'll be honest, I was freaking out. I didn't know what I was gonna do, because at first there was talks of cancellation because the one of the other two cars that were before were actually canceled, and I was worried because I had just signed the contract for November 1st, and and I was freaking out. Had to sit down and talk with my coach, and my coach just told me I talked to Mark, I talked to Ed Soares, and everything is going to be resolved, and it kind of put me at ease. The only thing was that it wasn't going to be November 1st; it was going to be November 15th. So after I just kind of sat down and just like took a breather and just trusted LFA, trusted LFA that it just smoothed over, and then the cherry on top is being on UFC Fight Pass. They knew what they were doing the whole entire time, which I'm very glad and grateful for.
And I believe everyone found out about Fight Pass on the pay-per-view this past weekend. When did you find out, and what was your reaction when you found out it'd be on Fight Pass?
Oh, I found out that same day. No, I was watching the prelims. I believe it was Maya versus Chukagan, where I was watching it. And then I just see that little blurb that says LFA is going to be now on Fight Pass. Oh, man, I was watching it on my way to go watch the fights because I was watching the Fight Pass I was watching ESPN Plus on my phone on my way to go watch it at somebody's house, and me and my brother were for joy. I almost told my brother, "Hey, drop me off right here. I'm running to our friend's house."
For sure. And before we do get into your fight, you mentioned watching the pay-per-view with your friends and stuff. Since you are a fighter, I do want to get your point of view on this. The main event, and it gets stopped because of a cut. Everybody's mad, a rematch, all that stuff. As a fighter yourself, what was your reaction when you saw the fight get stopped due to that cut?
I saw that stoppage, and that for me, would want to keep on fighting. That's just me. I don't know what the doctor's reasoning was. He probably saw that the cut was really bad and everything, but and a lot of people are saying that, oh, this cut wasn't as bad as before, or it's New York's problem. No, I think it was just the doctor. It's not New York. It's not anybody else. It's the doctor, but you can't blame the doctor for wanting to look out for the safety of the fighters. So at the end of the day, I don't really blame too many people. That stoppage, if the doctor deemed it fit for it to stop, then it was a perfect stoppage. I know Diaz is a tough fighter. He's a really tough fighter, durable fighter, and he's fought with that cut before. But at the end of the day, it's the doctor's decision, and whatever choice he made. Me, for a fighter, I can understand his frustration and being mad, because I would have been mad as well. But anyways, the fight wasn't going his way. He was getting beat down for 3 rounds, and I've heard that Masvidal was slowing down in all this sense, and Diaz, usually does great in his 4th or 5th rounds, but he hasn't really had a stoppage in the 4th or 5th round ever. And then also, depending on how Masvidal fought, he could have easily just coasted himself to those 4th and 5th rounds. But we'll never know. The fight got stopped, and I seemed to be perfect. At the end of the day, it was probably for the best. It probably would have gotten a lot worse.
For sure, I do agree with you there on a lot of points. But let's talk about your fight a little bit. Obviously, you're the main event here at LFA. I believe their first time on Fight Pass, and that's going to be you in the main event. What are your thoughts on your opponent, man, as you head into this fight?
And it's gonna be a great fight, and I believe it's gonna be a great fight for me. He's a stand-up guy, so I know he's not gonna take a step back. He loves to come forward. He has a little tricky things on the back foot, but I've already seen a lot of those striking techniques. It's nothing new to me. I've been seeing it my whole entire career. At the end of the day, for me, it's actually the best matchup because I get to show all my tools. I don't have to limit myself. Whenever you're worried about fighting a wrestler, if you throw a kick, it catches the kick and drives you to the ground. I'm actually super excited because I'm gonna get to showcase myself.
You mentioned what you think about the matchup and everything, but you are currently on a 2-fight win streak. What does a win in this fight do for you? Does this get you in the title? Does this get you even talks with the UFC and stuff like that? What does it do for you?
I believe it gets me in both positions. It gets me a title shot, and then also I believe it gets me in the UFC talk position. I've been believing I've been UFC caliber for a very long time, and now it's just time for me to prove it. I have the skills, I have the technique, and I have the heart and will to do it. I just need to start showing it and proving it. I've been having too many close fights with people that are in the UFC right now. Now I just gotta start pushing for the finishes now. especially in those two fights that I lost, I felt like I could have been in a position to finish the fight. But now I just got to go out there and just start finishing the fight. I feel like I felt, similar to Masvidal whenever he was losing all those
Yeah.
super decisions. Now he calls it baptizing. I'm not gonna call it baptizing, but I'm just gonna start knocking everybody out.
Sure, and you did mention the standing with the UFC. When we have a prospect such as yourself, the talk is, either getting straight to the UFC or going through the Contender Series. Is there a thought to, trying to improve your record, getting these finishes so that this summer you could get in the Contender Series? I mean, is that something you think about?
Any way I can get in, any opportunity I get, I'm taking full advantage of. If it's a straight call to the UFC or it's a Contender Series shot, I'm okay with both. I just want to get myself into that position, and prove myself, because that's the way I want to do it. I want to be able to get the opportunity and prove to myself and everybody else that I belong here. Now, my first step is Kyle Estrada, and then whenever I get past that, it's nothing but go time from there. I'm ramping it up in 2020, and I'm really excited for what's to come.
All right, and I have just one more for you. How do you see yourself getting your hand raised in this fight?
I believe it's going to be knockout, or a submission from him shooting in after I rock him. I just believe that I have a more powerful stand up. My hands are I hit way harder with my hands. He got stopped by Luis Smolka. I know I hit harder than Luis Smolka. But he's also fought some very tough guys at 35. That Cody Bison or Cody Freeman, whoever he fought, his last fight was a very tough opponent. So I'm not underestimating him at all. Pretty much to me, this is what I do with all my opponents. I overestimate, and that actually works into my benefit, because once I'm in there, I'm like, oh, he's slower than what I thought. Oh, he doesn't hit as hard as what I thought, or his wrestling's not as good as I thought. So it works in my direction either way. But great fight, but I see myself stopping them for end of the first, early second.
All right, man. Well, we look forward to it. Obviously, it's going to be a great fight. It's good to see you guys fighting on Fight Pass on a bigger stage. Thanks so much for the time, man. I really appreciate it.
And thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you.